Hey guys, it's Co-Invest here. So this is my first YouTube video, and this video will be how to find a Section 8 property, or even any property in general. It all works the same. So today we're going to show you how to find that first investment property. The way I nowadays do it is through Section 8 tools. It works out the cash flow automatically for me, but I'm going to show you how I originally did it because I know most people won't have access to Section 8 tools. So the first thing I used to do was go directly onto Zillow. You find the market that you want to invest in. The market should be high Section 8 demand, low property prices. That's the two things you want. A lot of Section 8 tenants and cheap properties. It's that simple. Next, you're going to be looking for a high bedroom count, low square footage, and then obviously a cheap property. Section 8 rent is solely based off of the bedroom count. So for example, this property here, if this was a 2 bed, the rent's going to decrease. Like, I mean, clearly, obviously, but the rent's going to decrease massively, even though the square footage is the exact same. Or if this goes up to a 4 bed, it's going to increase massively. So the square footage doesn't matter. A big house doesn't affect the rental income. So really, you want the smallest house possible with the highest amount of beds, because if you have a small house, repairing it is cheap. If anything breaks, it's cheap to fix. And then obviously, the more bedrooms that you have, the more rent you get. So small house, high bedroom count, cheap purchase price, and obviously you want a zip code where they pay high rental amounts. Every single zip code is different. So if we look at this house and we see it's 120k in this zip code, we might check out the zip code. We look at a 4 bed rent and it might be low, and then we're thinking, okay, so I can't look at 120k on 4 beds. That's not the case. Every single zip code, the rent amount is different. So you could be in an area where it's like the rents are very high, or you could be in an area where the rents are very low. This could say 2,200, and then you could find a 119k property 4 bed in another zip code where they only pay 1,300. So gonna get straight into it. What I do is I look for up to 150k because we do want cheap properties. You want a 2 bed plus, because buying a 1 bed property, there is very low Section 8 tenants that are just 1 bed. Like most people, it's like a mother and like a child or a family. So you don't really want a 1 bed. So you're looking for 2 bed plus, probably even 3 bed would be better. 3 bed plus would be better. And then home type, houses and multifamily. If you want cash flow, multifamily is the best. If you want appreciation, houses are the best. I want appreciation. I'm not really caring about the monthly income that I make. I just care about the properties appreciating. So I care about houses more than anything. And that's my filters. So now all I'll do is put newest. I'd filter for the newest because I'm checking on this multiple times a day. I'm fully up to date with absolutely everything that's going on the market. And all I'll do is scroll through the pictures first of all to try and find a turnkey property. No rehabs needed at all. And clearly at this one, it's very close to turnkey, but I mean, maybe if you take this out, it might fully be turnkey. Let's keep on looking. I would say this is fully turnkey, but at the same time, we are looking at 150k for a 4 bed, so it's on the absolute highest end. So I'm just going to skip this for now. You can keep looking through pictures. You might see properties which need like rehabs or very old fashioned. Just skip it. Keep on moving. So 4 bed, 120. This is the one we was just looking at. It looks like a fresh rehab, which is very good. Yeah, let's have a little look at this house. So description, that should tell you a good amount of stuff about the property. Updated, move-in ready, strong appeal for cash flow investors, meaning you should probably get a good rental amount for this property. Yeah, doesn't say anything's wrong with the property. You can go down, and if we keep on going, you will see. Did I go past it? 1 second. Ah, wait, what? 1 second. Where has the flood risk gone? It used to show the flood risk and fire risk. Have they updated it? Here we go. Yes, they have updated it. So previously it just stated it right on here, but now we need to click this link and it tells you the probability of like a flood, a fire, wind, and these are all very low. And like if we click it, it should tell you like the percentage of over the course of 30 years and stuff like that. But yeah, this is very low, so this is fine. You'd want to confirm that you're not in like a flood zone because insurance is going to be increased by a lot and you're going to expect in repairs. So it's not something you want to do. You can also see the property tax here, the home insurance. These are not 100% accurate. You can go on the county website and confirm the property taxes, but these are just estimates. So here is the, let's just scroll. Here's the house. It looks turnkey. We want to try and look at the roof. The roof here looks fine. The back looks fine, siding looks fine. I'm not sure what's going on down here, and I don't know what this is in the grass there. Could be something we need to look at. What you want to do is check the street view. Now, at the bottom right, it says 2026, but that is not when the pictures was actually taken. We're actually lucky because these pictures were taken after the rehab. But what you want to do is copy the address directly into the maps. If you give me a second, I will do that on my other screen so I don't show my location. Here we go. So we can go onto Street View directly on the maps and you can see image was taken 2022. So actually it's been rehabbed for a while, like at least the exterior. And you want to look at the sides so you can try and see the roof. I know this is actually very bad photos, like the sun, the light, and you got a blurred out house. But the roof here looks very good. This was 4 years ago, so it's not going to be fully accurate. You would have an inspector inspect the roof and everything like that before you buy. But based off this, it looks good. You also want to check just the street in general. What are the other houses around you looking like? Is there boarded up houses? Is there abandoned houses? Is it nice looking? So like these two here, I'm not sure. No, these ain't abandoned. This looks like a nice area, and you don't want to be like the best house on the street. You're never gonna. No, that's not a good look essentially. You want to go for a cheaper house, which is matching up with the street, which this is on the nicer side. So that's good. Yep, we can close that. Next, we will check the zip code to see how much rent that they're going to pay in the zip code. So again, every single zip code is different, at least in Cleveland, not in every single city, but in Cleveland it is. So Section 8 Tools has a FMR rate, which tells you exactly what the HUD states that the FMR is. You can do this without Section 8 Tools, but it's a lot more long-winded. I'll show you what I mean. So you're going to need to first of all find the state. So we're looking for Ohio. There it is. Then you need to find the county. So here it is. And then you're going to need to copy the zip code. You need to find the zip code, which is here, and then you can see it says 1.6K, which is matching up with Section 8 Tools. But the most annoying thing about this is you can't like bookmark this page, because if you're investing in Cleveland, every time you want to see this, it doesn't let you save it here. Every single time you have to click the state and then the county, then you'd have to find it through this list. And if you're investing all over the US or like in different states and things like that, it's just a struggle. So we'll be using this for now. This is a lot simpler. So we know they're paying 1.6, or that's what the FMR rate states. It doesn't actually mean you're going to get paid 1.6. Your rental amount is going to match up with other rents in the area. So you'd actually check what things are renting for in the area. And the Section 8 typically pays like 10 to 20% more than average rental properties. You can see rates vary up to like 120%. So you could possibly be getting paid less, or you could possibly be getting paid like 120% of this, which would be like an extra $320 on top. Yeah, it just very much varies on what the actual going rent is in that area, and you can figure that out by going onto like Zillow and going onto affordable houses and things like that to figure that one out. But if we're just going to base it off the FMR, which we can in this situation, now we're going to go onto the turnkey calculator. You can probably do this with any like ROI calculator for real estate. You can just like Google one or something like that, and just in here. Let's copy the address. Purchase price was, here we go. Just to let you know as well, 1.6K for 120K house isn't bad as long as you're actually getting paid that. So as long as the going rent in that area is actually that, then I would be pretty happy if I was you guys. So repair costs. This house does look very turnkey, but here's the thing, right? You don't want to make any repairs yourself. You want the seller to make all the repairs. So what's going to happen is you're going to look at the property, you're going to get your agent to walk it, see any issues. You're going to put your offer in, obviously low, try and get the purchase price down. And when you get your offer accepted, you have an inspection period where you actually pay an inspector to go to the house and tell them, hey, I want you to do a Section 8 inspection, inspect like a Section 8 inspector, find absolutely everything that would foul a Section 8 inspection. Once you have all the list of things, you're going to go back to the seller with the list of things and, hey, we have all these problems, I need you to fix them. Now, for example, if we're buying this for 120K, right, you're putting 20% down, which is 24,000. You're putting 24,000 down on this property. Now, say that there's 10,000 in repairs. You're not just paying 24,000 anymore. You're paying 24,000 and 10,000 in repairs. So you don't want to pay repairs out of pocket yourself. You want the seller to make the repairs. If the seller refuses to make the repairs, what you can do is say, okay, for example, say the repairs are 10,000. Instead of paying 10,000 to repair it yourself when you buy the house, you can say to the seller, I will pay 130,000 because it's currently asking for 120. You say, I'll pay 130,000 for the property. You make the repairs. And what this does is you're still paying for the repairs, but you're not paying out of pocket, because with a DSCR loan, you only put 20% down. So you're only paying 20% of that 10,000 because you're like financing the rest. So instead of paying 10,000 out of pocket when you close on the property, you're just paying 2,000 out of pocket instead on the repairs instead of 10,000 out of pocket, which will leave you more cash to reinvest into more properties. So that is one method. And then you can also get seller credit, so like seller cash back after the property has closed. You can get cash back and you can use that for repairs. But the best way is simply to get the seller to make the repairs for you, and they very commonly will, as long as it's not like crazy repairs. And if it is crazy, you don't even want to buy this house. I pulled out houses after inspection. This is something that happens. Inspection will be like, it's going to cost you a bit of money, but it needs to be done and it will stop mistakes. So yeah, that is about repairs. So we're going to say 0 for repair costs. Interest rate, let's stick it at like 7.5. And now property management. This is default at 10% of the rent. My property manager charges me 6%, so I am doing 1,600 divided by 100 times 6. So this is what I would be paying in property management fees. The standard is like 8 to 12%. You really want to be at like the 10% mark, but my manager does 6% to me. Property taxes, once again, you can find it directly on the county website. So if we go right here is the county website. You would put the address in and you can find all the details on the property. For example, commonly square footage is incorrect, so you can copy the address and you can click address. It shows you what LLC currently owns it and all that type of stuff. So you click building info and you can see like the square footage, live-in total area 1,712, which is actually smaller than it states on Zillow. That's a perfect example. Zillow is incorrect. It's not always correct. But yeah, property taxes you can find directly on here as well. You can see like tax by year and all that type of stuff. But we can use the default Zillow one, like, because that is what I do in the calculations just to speed things up. Zillow says property taxes, this is what it's stating, so I'll take that, put that in there. And then insurance, it's saying 40, I take that, put that in there. But you can never really trust a Zillow, it's just an estimate. And obviously we're doing a DSCR loan, 20% down over the course of 30 years. I put a 7.5% interest rate, which is a realistic rate you can get nowadays. So I'm going to click calculate. 9901, so it's this property. And you can see we have an ROI of 30%. So your cash flow amount is relevant. All you care about is the ROI, because yeah, you might see, oh, I want 1,000 a month. It doesn't matter. You need to think in percentages, not cash value, because percentages show you how much money you get back for the money that you've invested, which matters the most. You don't care about the actual number, you care about the percent. I'm spending 10,000. How much am I going to be getting back for that 10,000 I spent? That's why you look at percentages. So, what this essentially means is, like, to get your money down that you put down back, it's going to take you a little over 3 years. Like, that's what it would mean. So, for example, like 100% divided by 30.09, it would take you 3.32 years to get your down payment back with this cash flow. Again, they may pay you more in rent, they may pay you less in rent. One other thing, we are not accounting for vacancy periods. You may not have a tenant in for a couple of months. Again, you need to buy in an area where there's high Section 8 demand to get tenants in fast. Another thing, closing costs. We are not including closing costs. To buy a property, there will be fees. You'll need to pay a real estate agent fee. You'll need to pay an escrow fee, a title fee. So there are more costs that come into it than just this. Things that a lot of these gurus don't tell you, but these are hidden costs. But this is kind of how I do it. So a 30% return is good. What you'd want to do is like figure out what percentage you want and then stick with it. So like, for example, like, okay, I want to buy 3 turnkey houses. If that's your goal, you obviously want to get the highest ROI possible. So maybe you're like, okay, I'm not going to buy anything less than 40%. And then that's your goal. Anything below 40%, you get rid of it. And yeah, that is something you can do. That's actually what I did with the first turnkey property. And I will not be buying any more turnkey properties. I am doing fix and flips and BRRRR in Cleveland. My goal is BRRRR. BRRRR is the way forward. The only way turnkey is going to be beneficial is if you have a ton of money, millions and millions. Or if you have OPM who can give you tons of money, then just buy turnkeys. But if you're working with your own cash and you have like $1 million or a few $100,000, like if you have like less than a couple million, you want to do BRRRR. Fix and flip is good to increase your like cash. Like if you're getting low on cash, you're going to need to start selling some property, so you do fix and flips. But your goal should be BRRRR because that increases your portfolio, it gets you cash flow, and you're recycling the money. Yeah. But so 30%, this is the cash, and then we'll need to confirm a couple more things before we even send an agent there. What we would do is copy the address, and then we put it into the neighborhood, and then it tells you if the population of that neighborhood is increasing or decreasing. It is declining, which is not like the best thing. You want it to be increasing so properties appreciate like a good amount. An area which is going up, properties are going to appreciate faster. So this is obviously not a great sign, but it's not a deal breaker or anything because you're renting to Section 8, so you're going to get a tenant. Next thing you want to check, okay, yeah. So basically you want to check spot crime and look for shootings and burglaries. So you can see all these red things are shootings. You don't want any shootings or any burglaries on your road. There isn't any on our road. We're actually in a bad area. East Cleveland is a terrible area. Like this whole section here is terrible, and I would never buy in here. I didn't even look at the address like on the map, obviously, but we're just doing it through here. There is no shootings, no burglaries on this street or even very close to our house, so it is okay to buy. But just in general, East Cleveland is a bad area. I would never buy this. But that is the rule. No shootings, no burglaries on this specific street. Yeah, and you can see a lot more things. For example, like this, 34% of residents live below the poverty line in this neighborhood. And you can see like the race, demographics, 88% Black African American, which does indicate a major higher Section 8 demand in this area. But then obviously also it's a bad area, so has a chance your house gets broken into or something along the lines. Reason behind shootings, obviously, if you have shootings on your street, what that could mean is you have like gangs that live very close to you and maybe a drug house or anything like that, but we don't have anything here. For example, like right here, you can see this is probably a gang area because the shootings like right next to each other essentially. And burglaries obviously mean that they probably come back and continue to try and steal from the same area, so that's why we don't like the burglaries. But yeah, Section 8 tools, you can check kind of everything in here. Median rent, 900 for that neighborhood. Median household income, 30k. Yeah, so that is how I would do it. And if this wasn't in a bad area, you could then send your agent to the property and get them to look at it. Then you guys put an offer in together. If the offer is accepted, then you send an inspector there, get him to inspect it, and then get him to tell the seller all the issues, or you tell the seller all the issues that you want fixed, get him to fix it, and then you buy the property and you get the tenant in it. That is how you would do it. Nowadays, I don't do the Zillow method. Straight on Section 8 tools, deal finder, it instantly tells you the cash flow. For example, if we could try and find that property, what was the house again? We might be able to. Oh, 10 hours ago? No, it hasn't updated yet today. So it hasn't updated yet, but it would be on here. For example, like this one, we scroll past this one. See, this is 1 day ago. So if we go back onto Zillow really quick, look for 1 day. There you go. Here we go. See, right here. But it automatically works it out for you. You've already got the estimated cash flow and the ROI and all that type of stuff. So that is how I do it. Hopefully this helps you guys, and I will be continue to make more videos and document my entire journey. Thank you.